All right. I'm recording now. Okay, testing. All right.
Hey, hello.
Okay, so we're actually. This is like the second recording in a day. We recorded episode 2 like 10 minutes ago. Took a little break to snack on some sour worms and shit like that. Oop.
Oops.
And yeah. All right. How about you start the intro? Do you want to start?
Um, I'm too shy.
You're shy?
I'm kind of shy.
Okay, that's fine. That's completely fine. It's okay. All right, then we will get you to do an intro when you're ready. Okay? So I'll do it. All right, guys. 3, 2, 1. Hello, guys. Welcome back to episode 3 of Unkempt, starring Amber and
This is Alex.
yeah. All right, like I said, we were recording episode 2 like a couple minutes ago. Now we're moving on to a different subject, something that where we can kind of bounce off of each other. This episode is probably going to be about like red flags and green flags in male and women, not just like in relationships, but in, friendships and like things in general.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, so one let's start off with some positive things that you can see in people because I feel like we both are quite pessimistic people. We're going to be honest, guys, we see the negatives in people first. Yeah.
I don't really want to do that, but it kind of shows them.
Right, you can kind of pick apart like the negatives first, and that's the first thing that comes into
my own eyes.
yeah, and then like later on you see the good sides, and then you decide like whether or not you want to hang out with this person and stuff like that. I feel like it's better if it's the opposite. No, is it? No, I don't know. But either way, okay. So for me, one thing that I really like in a person in general is when they know how to like communicate their feelings or communicate well in general. So let's say I'm feeling, let's say you and I are friends, right,
Yeah.
Alex? And I was hurt by something that you said. You might have said it like very nonchalantly, like, like a small little jab that might have been a joke to you or whatever. It was just like a passing comment, but I felt a little bit bad about it. Then that person should be able to go to you without having to feel some like bad about it, to say like, hey Alex, like, before when you say this I kind of felt a little bit offended. I was a little bit sad. I was confused about what you said, and I kind of want to talk about it. I know it wasn't a big thing and I don't want to make it a big thing, and then y'all hash it out. Like there are some people that like hold those small grudges and small like things in, and then they explode, which is something I hate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like say, oh, on that like last year on November 1st,
Yeah.
you did something like I hate that.
Yeah, basically like I think this is something for everybody, like in friendships, when it comes to your family as well, and when it comes to relationships in general.
Yeah.
Like obviously you have to kind of date somebody that's similar to you in that situation. Like if you need to think about, there are two types of people I feel like, where they need to talk it out right away.
Yeah.
So that they solve the problem so it doesn't get into a bigger problem. And there's another type of person where they have to step back from
and
the situation and think about it. But for me, I am always the type of person that needs to figure things out now, and I cannot wait. Well, not I will wait if you want me to wait, but I feel like I will think from 1 to 100 if I don't know how you feel. Like if you don't tell me like, oh, I'm okay with this, but I feel like you're not okay with it, I'll be like, oh my god, this guy is like, oh, this person thinks this about me, and like I'll think about negative things, right? And then it'll make me feel more aggressive towards you and stuff like that. So I feel like communication, I need to know where you are standing and where I'm standing, so I can make not assumptions but clear conclusions to what things are, right? What about you? Do you think that you're the type of person to kind of want to figure it out head on, or?
I for me, I actually like want to solve and right away just like you do, but I think that's too impulsive. Like, I think that's kind of
The negative aspect of
negative
it.
part because I I can make things bigger than
Right.
expected
Right,
when
yeah.
I'm in that like so impulsive in that impulsive situation. So
Right.
I want to be a person who wants to think and speak.
Okay, so do you mean like think as in have your own time, like maybe a day or a couple hours? Like you want to think about it first and then talk, or you want to think while talking? Like take things slow. Like what do you mean?
Oh, so actually, I don't really think while I'm talking,
Mm.
like deeply. I don't really think about
Okay,
it.
okay.
So I think I need a couple hours to think.
Oh, I see.
But I'm trying to be that person.
Oh, you want to be that type of
Yeah,
person where you
I
need to take a step back?
yeah.
Mm.
I need a time to see that situation. But currently, actually, I think I'm not doing that. I'm
Mm.
too.
I'm the same way. Like, all right, we'll talk about it. I fought a lot with one of my exes about this, because my ex was the type of person who needed time, right? And would not tell me when he felt sad or angry with what I've done or said because he didn't want to turn it into a big fight. But for me, it was you keeping it in and telling me like a week later is turning it into a bigger fight, because why didn't you tell me then? Then we could have figured it out and I could have solved the problem then. Now you coming acting like for a week everything was fine, and then coming back to me and saying you did this and my feelings are still hurt. That takes me off guard, right? It like so for me that is starting a bigger fight.
Yeah.
Whereas if you come to me, yes, in the moment we might be impulsive, but for me when I talk with somebody, I I like to process things really quickly, right? And I am very careful with my words, especially through text, right? So that's how I am, but whatever. So somebody who knows how to communicate their feelings, like at the in the spot, and like knows how to communicate in general and to meet a middle ground is something that I feel is really good in a person. I think doesn't mean it has to be right away, but just they know how to communicate.
Communicate.
Yeah.
But I think the best way, which is really 이상적이다. 이상적,
Um. Shit. I don't know.
which is in a good situation when talking is. I'm kind of upset right now. Can we talk in like 1 hour later?
Exactly.
I
If
think
you
that's the good
Right. So
conversation.
when I'm talking about communication and stuff like that, you like if you just keep your mouth shut, but your face or your actions are showing me that you're not feeling good or
Yeah.
you're angry at me, that's gonna cause problems. But if you come to me and say, "Hey, listen, I'm not in the mood
With
to
talking.
I need give me a time."
And give me a
Give me a time frame. Just say we'll talk later is not gonna help me. It's gonna
Yeah,
make me
yeah.
think, stuff like that. Anyways, anything that you think is good in a person whenever you see?
Well, keep things kind of light. I
Yeah.
like people who knows a lot of memes.
Memes, yeah, definitely, yeah. We have a friend that is very late in
At everything.
in everything
She
basically.
does.
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we love her. She's so cute and she's so funny as well. She doesn't really need memes
Yeah,
to
she
know
doesn't.
memes. Like
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I think that anybody versed in pop culture
Yeah.
or memes in general is very cool, right? I feel like, but that also means that we're getting old. I don't know.
No.
For me, I feel like
Sad.
I have sisters, like I have a Gen Z, like all my sisters are Gen Z, right? But they like know some things that I don't know. And that makes me sad. So I want to be that person who knows a lot of memes too. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's on too. Also, I think somebody who has a lot of hobbies,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
Like not a lot of hobbies, but like has hobbies that they're truly passionate about. I feel like is somebody who I want to be friends with or like date, I suppose, because if there I have seen some girls and some men that don't have things that they do on their own, so they're very dependent on their partner or their friends, and they Like, they only need to hang out with that one
One
specific
person.
person. So that's stemming off to like a red flag for me, like somebody who's too dependent
Who's too
on
dependent.
somebody.
Mm.
And so they don't really have hobbies. They don't really have like their friends that they need. They're dependent on one person. I feel like is a red flag as well. But yeah, somebody who has hobbies and like, like let's say they're passionate about building Legos.
Oh.
Something that I have never done or anything, but if they're passionate about it, I feel like that can be pretty hot as well. It's
Like,
something that's really cool,
even though it's like the gaming is their hobbies, is that
Yeah,
okay?
gaming. Gaming is my hobby, basically.
Yeah.
What do you mean, gaming? Like, is that a bad thing for you?
No, I do games too, so
Mm.
it doesn't matter, but
Okay.
like overly.
Oh, I
doing.
see. Like, like 15 hours a day type of gaming. I mean, if you're a streamer, I will accept it
Yeah.
as a part of the job. But if it's not, yeah. Yeah, that can be a red flag. Being too interested in hobbies to the point where it's overtaking your life and your relationships.
Yeah.
That is a red flag.
Like doing a Lego
Definitely.
is okay, but like
If
he
he-
has one room or she has a one room
Mm.
full of Legos.
Oh, I think that's okay too, but like, let's say if you're in a relationship or you're married, and let's say you have a certain type of budget,
Yeah.
and your partner spends way over budget
Yeah.
for that type of thing,
I think that
then it's a problem. It's a red
It's a
flag.
problem.
But if they have a room, that's fine with me as long as they're in budget. Like, they spend this amount every month to fill that room eventually. I'm okay with it. For me, I love gaming. So if I do get a partner and I end up living with somebody, or if I do get married, maybe, I don't know. Not hopefully, like I'm not really interested in getting married right now, but anyways, I would like a room where we can game together, build a nice setup, set a specific budget that we can spend on and stuff like that.
Gaming
Yeah.
room?
Yeah, gaming room. Or like, if they like movies or they like LPs, collecting LPs,
Right.
that's completely fine. As long as you have boundaries, you set boundaries with each other and you're within boundaries, and I think that's completely fine. Yeah. Oh, something that I feel like is a huge, huge red flag
Why?
is when somebody is like all nice and stuff like that,
Yeah.
but when they drive, they're aggressive.
Oh.
You see a side of them that you've never seen before. Like they
Yeah.
honk their horn, they tailgate, they like throw profanities like here and there and stuff like that. Like, yeah, profanities here and there is fine, but once you're like, stepping on the gas, or like you're honking and you're literally about to throw hands with people
Mm-hmm.
just for like, cutting you off or whatever, or some type, I feel like that's a huge red flag, and it can stem off into big things later. One of my friends had a partner where he was like literally the sweetest guy, but he was super aggressive
And driving?
when driving.
Oh.
And about like 2 years into the relationship, he started getting more and more aggressive towards my friend, basically verbally abusing her and stuff like that. I'm not saying all
All of
aggressive
them.
drivers are verbal or physical abusers, but I'm just saying that like if those types of things definitely can stem off into something else later on, I feel like
so
it's a
there are
huge red flag.
Possibility of
Mhm.
aggressiveness in them.
Mhm.
And like similar to that, I think when someone is drunk,
Yes.
I think we can see their real personalities.
Right, in Korean, what do they say in Korean? Like,
What?
when like the truth comes out when you're drunk.
That's just
취중진.
취중진다.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Like the things they say, the things they do when you're drunk. Like not blackout drunk. Obviously,
Yeah.
it depends like on the situation. But I feel like, yeah, you can definitely see more of their actual personality when they drink a bit.
Yeah.
Especially if they're aggressive. That's a huge red flag.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a huge red flag. For me
Yeah.
too.
Something that I think is something that I want is going back to,
Aggressiveness.
No, like
Driving.
feelings and stuff like that. Like when the person seems very optimistic. Remember, we talked about how we were very pessimistic
Yeah.
people. We see the negatives first before we see the positives. The opposite, I feel like, is very attractive to me when they're quite optimistic because I'm the type of person who sees the glass half empty
Yeah, me too.
rather than glass
Half is
half
full.
full. Um, and I feel like my boss is
Yeah.
quite optimistic and I admire her for it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, she sees the potential in people, and she gives people chances, and anything that goes wrong, she'll basically be like, it's fine.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, everything will work out. We'll find a way. But for me, when I, like, especially because like I said, I conduct a lot of interviews, I train a lot of people, I see the negatives first.
Yeah, me too.
And I kind of correlate that to how they're going to perform in certain tasks later on. So I end up limiting my, like, chances that I give them, right? Which is something that I definitely need to work on. So I guess I'm a red flag.
I'm a walking red flag too.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of red flags, goddamn. But yeah, I feel like people who are quite optimistic and they see the positive side in
Yeah.
most situations, I feel like that's something that is definitely a green flag in people. It's something that I want in myself as well. Yeah. Do you have anything that you want to add?
And like those people are kind of calm when something happens to.
Right, they're calm, which is
They're really
something.
calm. That I want to be like them.
I
If something
am
happens, I'm gonna like burst.
right. Like, I cry when I get angry.
Yeah, me too.
I like burn out easily. I'm I guess, yeah, I am a walking red flag, I guess. Yeah. Oh, I kind of want to go back to like the aggressiveness. Somebody like you said this before. Somebody who's very impulsive like you said.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add on to that when somebody is impulsive, like why you don't like it?
Uh, I don't like some situations which is not in my plan, and
Okay.
if someone is like even the minor things, like oh let's go to Japan tomorrow, but we didn't plan anything. That's like impulsive to me.
Okay. Well, that is super impulsive.
That
Yeah,
is
definitely,
impulsive.
definitely. Like, um, that was kind of different from what I was thinking about impulsive. Like, for me, impulsive is kind of like acting or lashing out without thinking for me, impulsive type of thing. Or like saying things that without thinking is kind of impulsive for
I think
me.
that kind of relates with that too. I
Yeah.
mean, like that little parts
Mhm.
kind of relates with not planning and going to trips
Okay.
kind of part.
I see. Like for me, I'm cool with that as long as I have the time and the money. If you want to go to Japan tomorrow, I'm super down because I don't. I'm not a big planner when it comes to trips.
Yeah,
Like I
me
like
too,
impulsive
but
things and stuff like that. But for me, being too impulsive is a red flag when it comes to communication in
yeah,
general, aggression, um, and yeah, basically, acting on impulse basically in certain social situations, I suppose.
I think there's kind of for me. I think there is a
Mm.
correlation between like that impulsive and this what I'm talking impulsive. So someone who likes to like go off traveling like immediately, I think they have an impulsiveness when they're talking.
Mm.
So
All right. Oh, I see. Well,
they
I don't
might
know.
have.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming with that and stuff like that. Mm. Oh, this is something a little bit lighthearted, but I feel like it's a red flag when they are rude to customer service workers,
Yeah.
servers, retail workers and stuff like that. When they snap, my father used to do that in restaurants.
Like snapping.
He
like,
would say, waiter. And I got so angry that I
Oh.
literally yelled at my dad in the restaurant when I was in America. I
Oh
said,
my God.
who do you think you are? This is my father, people. I'm just saying, like, I know you have to be respectful to your parents and stuff like that, but, like, obviously, yeah. I was like, that is something that is so disgusting to me. Like, and here's the thing. Like, some of my friends, I'm not gonna name who. There are some people that when you order, like, let's say you're at Subway or something
Yeah.
like that, and they're like, oh, what bread would you like? And they're just like, that one. And they're like,
Oh.
lettuce and tomato. Like, no, please. Or like, oh, thank you. And like, I am standing next to them being like, my friend is
Be
just like,
kind.
like, I can't, like, I get so jittery. Like, why are you talking, like, why are your words so sharp,
Yeah.
And they're
And
like,
just say please. That's
oh,
just a word.
also, when they're like paying, like, in Korean they say, 뭐, 영수증 드릴까요? Do you want a receipt? And they're like, 됐어요. It's
Oh.
whatever. Nah, it's fine. Right? Like for me, I'm just 괜찮아요.
괜찮습니다.
괜찮아요. 버려주세요. Or like, oh, please throw it out. No, no, thank you. Just like simple things like that make me so nervous when somebody like so anxious when somebody like or when let's say you are at a retail store, let's say like a clothing store, and you want to find your size, like you ask them, hey,
Excuse
I
me.
I would like a medium size, could you please check in the back?
Yeah.
Now that small little please
Yeah.
goes a long way.
Me too.
Like, do you have anything to add on to that? Like,
And with like the paying and stuff,
Mhm.
and at the end of every word, I think I say thank you when I'm leaving.
mm-mm.
But there are some people that doesn't say thank you.
Right.
And
Oh my god,
like
I hate that as well. Yeah.
in Korea, they serve like banchan
Right. Side
first,
dishes.
side dishes first. And I always say when they like pull all the side dishes,
They
like,
set the
on
table
my
for
table
you,
for
right.
me, on my table,
감사합니다.
I always say 난 감사합니다.
Right. 감사합니다.
But
네,
not a
감사합니다.
lot of people does that. Did you?
They
know
literally
that?
they just sit and
They
they're
just
like,
sit and
sometimes that's fine. If you said thank you one too many times,
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
say it like
yeah.
once or twice, and then like you don't have to say it every time. I'm not saying that. It's just like stemming off from what you said. When they're leaving, most customer service workers will say 안녕히 가세요, or like have a nice day.
Nice day.
Obviously you're not going to turn around, thank you, have a nice day, you too. Like not everybody's going to be like that.
Yeah, I know.
But you can say 네, 감사합니다, 안녕히 계세요 만 하고 나오면
yeah,
되잖아.
thanks
right?
you too. Like
Yeah, thanks, you too. But they just ignore them and just like walk out the
Leave.
door. That makes me so like that makes my skin crawl. Like I get so like what?
And I got one more.
What?
Like when opening the doors, like they like 이렇게 들어가요.
I feel like I okay,
do?
so no. I feel like I get pretty aggressive. Like I get feral when somebody like let's say I'm opening the door for myself.
Yeah.
I like there's a mall close to us,
Yeah.
and there are like that the front entrance, like there
Yeah.
are many doors,
Yeah.
but usually people like wait, like usually go into the door that the person in front of them goes into, right?
Yeah.
I open the door, but they cut in front of me to go in. Lady, if I was holding the door for you, I will move my body to the side and I'll be like, here, come in. But I'm not doing that. I'm standing in front and I'm trying to go in, and your chuma ass, chuma is like old lady in Korean, by the way. Chuma ass is squeezing your way
Right.
between the door frame and me
Yeah.
to get your ass inside the store. Yo, I got that pisses me off. Also, something that kind of makes me a little bit like, is this person a good person? Is when like let's say I do open the door for somebody, or like or I help them, or like let's say their hands are full in the elevator, and I
Yeah.
ask them like, what floor are you going on, and I press it for them. I do expect a small thank you.
아, 감사합니다.
Yeah, and people who don't do that, I'm like,
You at least nod.
am I your
people.
doorman? Like, am I your bellboy? Like, do I work in a hotel right now? Like, You know, I do expect a small thank you. And guys, like, I'm just saying, try to make it a habit to be polite.
Yeah.
Make it a habit. You know, say please, thank you, I'm sorry. These three things will get you so far in life, and it will help your image, and it will help the way you think in general if you just make it a habit,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like there is nothing wrong with saying please, thank you, or sorry too much. Yeah, just it just gets me fired up thinking about it, you
Yeah.
know? 감사합니다, 죄송합니다, 수고하세요. 이것만 하면은 반 이상은 가요,
Yeah,
right?
like
Yeah.
when we are getting older, and I'm getting older, and when I see people like in generally, I can see if they're polite or not, like in at least 5 minutes.
Yes. Well, yeah, first impressions definitely go a long way with me as well. Like, but do your impressions of people change? Like, let's say you spent like an hour, 2 hours with them, and you end up not liking them.
Yeah.
Later on, let's say you end up hanging out more and more. Do you think your opinion of them can change?
Sorry, guys, but don't know.
Which is weird for me because for me, opinions definitely can change.
Yeah, they
First
can.
impressions definitely go a long way for me. I will judge you. I will think I won't like you, but that can change like your character. Like let's say you were just having a bad day, like or like in general, oh, this person is actually pretty okay. I feel like that can definitely happen. But most cases it's usually the opposite. I think you're a good
Yeah.
person and then you kind of disappoint me and stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
like more common. But
That's
for
common.
me, somebody who had a bad first impression can definitely change my opinions on them later on, I feel like. But I thought it was interesting that you didn't feel that way.
Because for me, once there is a no sign, I think it kind of 자꾸 눈에 밟혀.
You keep seeing it?
Yeah, I keep seeing it. Like if that some person is really fully okay, fully good person, but once they don't say 감사합니다 or thank you in one like when they're in the service stores, I think that's a no.
Oh.
Like that's when I keep seeing that when I see that person.
Okay. One thing I also think is kind of a green flag is when somebody is family oriented.
Yeah.
But the red flag side of this is when you're too much of a mama's boy or mama's girl or
Too
whatever,
dependent.
like too dependent on your parents. And but family orient, like I have three younger sisters, mom and dad. I fight with my sisters all the time. I hate them sometimes, but they're my number one. My family is number one to me. But they all another green flag is when they know how to set boundaries when you do have like a partner in life, let's say, and you know how to assess a situation rationally. Like we were talking about this before. Mother-in-laws, you know, have a bad rep sometimes because they can be too obsessive over their son or daughter
Right.
or son or whatever. And that is a huge red flag for me if like you can't if your husband or your partner can't take your side because they're afraid of hurting their parents' feelings. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to decide what side they are going to be in the first place.
But I also understand why it can be hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to fight with your mom or your father or your partner. So I do understand it's hard to be a middleman, but if you are the middleman, be a good middleman, you know? Assess the situation, de-escalate things the way you can, get them to talk. This is all coming back to communication.
Communication.
Exactly, like, you know.
But most of people just ignore the situation, you know that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's happening right
Oh,
now.
너가 그냥 참아. Just
Just held on to things. And just,
God, just makes it. Another thing, I saw this on TikTok. When he or she calls his mom and dad mommy or daddy, how do you feel about that? Do you think it's a red flag or a green flag?
in Korea, but we don't have those. 엄마, 아빠.
Well, yeah, in English, let's say. oh, mommy, this is my mommy and this is my daddy.
Oh my god.
Do you think it's a green flag or a red
What are
flag?
you, like 3?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like okay, like there in many cultures there are like different ways to call your mom and dad. There's like mama, papa,
아,
pops.
어머니, 아버지.
Yeah, and in honorifics in
Yeah.
Korean you would kind of, show respect by saying 어머님, 아버님,
아버님.
아버지, 어머니, or you would just call them 엄마, 아빠. Um, yeah, but like, oh, since I lived in America, I feel like it would be kind of weird for me if my boyfriend or like my husband to be is like, "Mommy,"
Daddy.
like the fuck. Okay, like I don't know, but anyways, yeah, that's
I just thought of something,
what?
this is kind of like too Korean.
Oh,
You
okay,
might
go ahead.
don't know about this. So, if someone calls like the older people's name
Mhm.
함자로 안 부를 때, like if you
Mhm.
or name if someone's name is 홍길동,
Mm.
when he is really old, we have to say 홍, 길자, 동자.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
But someone says, 홍길동 님이.
Ah.
It's just like that's not polite, and
Oh.
many people doesn't know that. So I think that's
Yeah,
like too Korean.
I understand like 홍자, 길자, 동자, like I know that, but like for me, since I lived in America
Yeah,
for a long
yeah.
time, like I know about honorifics in general, like 누구님, 뭐, and stuff like that, but like for me, it's very confusing and there are a lot of things that I don't know. So for me,
Yeah, yeah.
in my perspective, I kind of understand because it's
Yeah.
not like I'm doing it on purpose, but if
Yeah,
I
that's
did
what-
know about everything, like
Yeah,
the,
yeah, right.
honorifics in general, like what's the highest, what's like in the middle and stuff like that, I would go by it, but I am not
Yeah,
that
that's
person,
why
so yeah.
that's why I said it's too Korean.
Mm,
But
mm, mm, mm.
if someone knows that and like introduce their family or
Mm.
introduce someone else's family's name, they
Mm.
have to be polite.
Mm.
I think that's
Okay, I think I understood what that meant, yeah. Learn something new every day. I knew about it, but I didn't know that when you introduce like somebody older than you, you had to say that.
자.
All right, guys, let's do that. I'll try my best to do that. Also, when I hate in Korea, like there are specific seats on the bus
Oh.
and subways and trains
Who's pregnant or
for pregnant people, for elderly,
elderlies?
and for those who are disabled. And this is a little bit iffy for like the pregnancy seats because they're literally like right at the middle or the end of like
Yeah.
where all the regular seats are, but like there's a specific, like when you go into one part of the subway, the end portions are all for elderly
Yeah.
or disabled people, right? When I see people younger than 40, 50 ish sitting there, if you're a foreigner, I see a lot of foreigners sitting there sometimes, but I do give them a benefit of the doubt. But at the same time, there's like a huge sign underneath it. Like you can see the disabled icon.
Icons?
You can see like the English written there, but I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt because they're not from our country.
Yeah.
And I understand, you can think like, oh, I will get up when a disabled
when-
person, or great, okay, benefit of the doubt. But if you've been living in Korea for some time, but you still sit in that area, even if it's packed, I will think you are not a good person. Also, but for me, one thing about the pregnancy seat is that when I was younger, I thought that yeah, you can sit there and I'll get up when a pregnant
Yeah.
person comes. But I realize that is kind of bad.
Yeah.
That is actually really bad because pregnancy comes in terms, right?
Yeah, right.
Not everybody shows depending on like your figure in general,
Yeah.
or like maybe you're not far along. Either way, you might be a couple months, maybe a month or
Yeah.
two or whatever along, and it doesn't show. And that person isn't gonna come to you with like a small, not even showing belly and be like, I'm pregnant, and ask you to move because they don't want to be rude,
Yeah,
right?
they have like in Korea they have kind of the tag for them.
Yeah,
like
but that as
pregnancy
well, I
tags.
heard from some people, like my friends, sisters, and stuff like that, that are pregnant, that it's kind of,
Hard to get it.
and also it's, they don't want to wear it and show it around and be like, oh, I'm pregnant, give me like,
Ah.
priority and stuff like that. So obviously, I feel like you should leave those seats open
Yeah,
in gen-
anytime.
in general. Just don't sit there. I get it. Your feet hurt. If you hurt your leg and stuff like that, maybe you can sit like in like the disabled portion, But guys, it's not hard to just stick it out.
Just stand like 10
Stick it
minutes
out.
more. That's
Yeah,
not that
stick it out.
hard. Oh, I have a one episode like with that pregnancy seat. Like it was just last week.
Mhm.
I was in like 출근.
Mhm.
I was on my way to my office.
On your way to work.
And there's a lot of people in number 2 station, like
Mhm.
number 2 line.
Right.
Like
This-
they're
Mm.
packed of people. We
Right.
just
Line
can't
number
breathe.
2 is hell.
And luckily I just got a seat on the way, and I was sitting there, and I was right next to the pregnancy seat, and that person who was in that pregnancy seat didn't have a tag on them.
Okay.
So I thought just like you, like maybe she's like she doesn't.
Right, that's
have
also something
it.
that we need to be careful of. Just because a woman is sitting there and doesn't have a baby bump does not mean that they're not pregnant, but we will automatically kind of judge them for being like, why are they sitting in the pregnancy seat? So it's like a double-edged sword, right?
But
Yeah.
like on the way, like the real pregnant person, like the woman, like
Okay,
who was
came.
like on like it
Last-
seems like 7 or 8 months, like
Along,
who was
okay.
kind of
Yeah.
full, I guess. She was standing there,
Okay.
but she didn't just stand up. So I was like, shit, I just gotta stand up for that pregnant person. And there was a lot of people like
Okay.
in middle of me and that pregnant person, so I
Right.
had to like, excuse me,
Right,
come
right,
here
right.
and sit here. I just
Right, and
gave my
also
seat
you
to
need
her.
to announce who you're getting up for. If you're
Yeah.
getting up for a specific,
It was
because
someone who,
again,
like, just like have my
Again?
seat.
Korean chumas, Korean Karens, basically, will throw their bag onto the seat. They would be like across the fucking
And not all of them, but
not
some
all of them, but there are like, I literally on the bus, like the bus was shaking and shit, but I got up for like an elderly man, right? He had a cane, and I was like,
yeah.
he had a cane. So I was like, 저기 어르신 이쪽 와서 앉으세요. Excuse me, sir, please sit here. I announced it. I used my voice. This chuma, this Karen, was near the back of the bus. I was near the front.
Yeah.
You know those chumas with the glasses, with like the glasses chain. She's blinged out. She has her hair freshly permed. You see her necklace and shit. You see her flower bag. She comes running from the back, and she's like, 저기요, 제가 여기 앉을게요. Throws her bag onto, oh, I hit the mic. Throws her bag onto the seat and sits. The man barely moved his cane. I
Sad.
was flabbergasted. I didn't know what to say. I was like,
Lost in words.
and so I used my courage and I said, 저기 죄송한데, I'm sorry, but this, I was getting up for this old man right here, this elderly man. And she's like, she ignored me. She was looking out the window.
Oh,
She all of a sudden she was Helen Keller. She was motherfucking deaf. She was deaf as she was looking at not a care in the fucking world.
No, I'm not gonna move.
Bitch, when I tell you I was flabbergasted.
Wow.
The old man was, and I like exchanged looks,
With that.
and I told him I was sorry. And so somebody like who was sitting right behind me saw the whole fiasco. He was a man in a suit, and he's
Yeah.
like, "여기 앉으세요." And so the businessman and I, we just like sat there and we just kind of bowed to each other and we just stood. That was,
Wow.
yeah, reckless. We're hitting the 40-minute mark right now.
Wow.
Would you like to keep going? Maybe we can like, well, we'll see where it ends, right? I feel like it's kind of getting fun. No? All right, so maybe we'll go a little bit more. That's definitely a red flag.
Yeah.
Um,
Red flag.
I also like
What?
I also like when Korean Karens, it's not just chumas, it's like those, there are like people in their 20s and 30s who are definitely Karens as
Yeah.
well, right? When they feel entitled to get serviced at like a salon or whatever. Oh, I know exactly what I want to say. When they think that a reservation means that they can come anytime.
Wait, when you had a reservation at 12?
But you come at like 2 and you're like, I reserved a spot. Doesn't that mean that I get a spot?
12 p.m.
Right. Who the fuck is going to hold your seat for 2 hours, bitch? I have a lot of horror stories from friends like in America that worked in the restaurant serving business, right? Waitressing and busing. They would book a seat for like 4 people, right? At let's say 3 o'clock. But they come at like 3:50 with like 10 people.
What?
And they're like, I reserved a spot at 3.
For 4.
Just grab 6 more seats from the empty tables. Like, people don't understand. Like, I get it if you don't understand how like a restaurant runs their business. There are like certain areas for certain waitresses or bussers and stuff, and there are reserved spots as well. And depending on how things are in the kitchen, you might have to restrict how many tables that you take in. But that isn't that common sense. I don't understand
Me too.
how you can think that you can reserve a spot at a certain time and come like hours later. Or there are some horror stories on like TikTok as well, like hair salons. Let's say like there are people who like come into the salons like workers, and they don't open, they just do it to like clean their station or like prepare things for their station, and they come in and they're like, you're here now, do my hair, or they come in, let's say it's fully booked, you didn't have a chance to book. Yeah, you can try asking them, hey, I didn't have a chance to reserve a spot, do you have an open seat at this time, or do you think you would have anything available at a time after this? Sure, you can ask. But if they say no, just drop it. Don't be like, but I see that you're not doing anything right now. Can't you just cut my hair? Girl, if they say no, just take the L and leave. Just go get some scissors and cut your own hair or something like that. Just because you don't cut your hair that day doesn't mean you're
dying.
Yeah, right? Doesn't mean that you're going to become Hagrid the next day or whatever, So, yeah, that's another thing. I don't know. There's a... I just think that in general, common sense is a huge green flag.
Yeah.
Having common sense, I feel like. So, yeah. I just... There's just a lot of people in the world who feel very entitled to certain things just because, it's a service. Just because it's a service for you doesn't mean that you can get it whenever you want, right? They have certain rules set in place. Anyways, I was a little bit too passionate about that. Do you have anything else that you want to add?
Since I was in that service industry for few.
Oh wait, what'd you do?
I was a waitress.
Oh, I see. Oh yeah. I used to work at a PC cafe. PC방.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was just in the normal restaurants.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have any horror stories?
Someone clapping here. That's common.
Oh god, yeah, snapping.
Snapping is
Mm-mm.
common,
Mhm.
and I hate when they say 언니.
Mm. Okay, so just in case some of you don't know, 언니 is like an honorific for a girl who is older than you. That can be kind of like an older sister.
Yeah.
It means older,
Older
sister,
sister.
right? But it's kind of cute if somebody that you like or like, it's like 언니. It's
I was
fine.
really young, but
Mm.
like Karen's Juma call me 언니.
Right, but it's the intonation, like it's the way they say
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
언니.
like,
언니, 이거 좀 갖다 주실래요?
oh, but I just didn't like that.
Yeah,
phrase.
but they're clearly like 30 years older than you.
like my mom. Hello, mom.
And so, like either way, I don't care if you look younger than me. Let's say I go to a restaurant
Yeah.
or a cafe. I will never call you 언니.
Me too.
언니 저 이거 하나 주시면 안 돼요? Can I have this please 언니? Like I'm not gonna say that. I will call you 사장님.
Me too.
Everybody in there is a
Any
사장님.
gender
사장님
or
means
age.
yeah. 사장님 means manager
Yeah.
or like store owner. I don't care if you started today. You're
I don't
사장님.
care. You're 사장님 for me.
Yeah, you're 사장님. I don't care. I'll call you 사장님, the next guy 사장님,
And
everybody's
everyone's
사장님. Any place that is like I guess like a nail shop or whatever, I will call you 원장님.
Yeah.
원장님.
Yeah.
Right? Like guys, like I said, I'm going to stress this. It is a good thing to make politeness a habit. Please, I am just saying, it will take you so far. Common sense, please. Build it,
Yeah.
work on it. Anyways, yeah. Do you have anything else? Oh!
What?
Remember I
Just-
said I worked at a PC방. So those people in America or some parts of the world might not know what a PC
PC방.
cafe is. Usually people in America have their own rooms, like their own PC setups at home. But in Korea, there are specific places where you can game. They have like the top of the line computer setups and
Yeah.
whatever, and you can go there to game. They have all these games like COD, Overwatch, PUBG, whatever. And so I used to work there, and it's called a PC cafe because you can order food and the food there was really
Great.
good. I had a mail
Mhm.
print something out, right? And for the store at the time, one black and white sheet printed was 301,
Yeah.
right? And color was 501. Okay? If we had a system malfunction or if there was something wrong with the printer or it was an error on our end, we wouldn't take the money, right? And we would reprint things for you. But if you made the mistake of printing out way too many for yourself or you didn't choose hookback black and white, you didn't or color, our boss made us have them pay for each page that they printed, right?
And that's on their fault. So.
This man printed maybe 5 pages, but he said 2 of them was he didn't print the right thing. So he's like, oh, I'm gonna print a couple more pages, right? And so I was like, okay, but you will have to pay for these 2 pages that you printed. He was like, oh yeah. And he printed 10, 15 more pages, right? And then he also misprinted a couple more pages. But I told him, you will need to pay for the pages that you misprinted because it wasn't a thing on our end. And then he was like, are you fucking kidding me? Why do I need to pay for something that I didn't want to print? And I said, sir, I did not make the rules. Technically speaking, we didn't have a malfunction. It didn't misprint because like ink ran out or like, something happened. You were the one who used your fat ass finger. I didn't say that. You were the one who used your finger to press print.
Yeah.
There is a preview display of what you're supposed to be printing. You not checking that and pressing print, that is something that we can't help you with. Right?
Yeah, and you just gave a word.
He threw his coins at me.
What?
So, what happened? I was literally, listen, I would love to help you. I acted like, I was on his side, and I was like, listen, I would love to help you, but like technically speaking, you did make the mistake. You didn't preview, like you didn't like double check. And he's like, call your boss. And I was like, okay. And he was like right around the corner. So I told him what happened. He's like, nah, my boss was amazing. He was always on my side. If you mistreat us, like my workers, we'll call the police, that type of thing. He was cool. He was amazing. He's like, no, you need to print it. And so the guy who was printing looked at me. He's like, do I have to print? And I was like, I am not the boss. You asked for him. That's what he says. You need to pay. And altogether was maybe like 2,000원, 3,000원, like $3-4 basically.
$3-4.
So he was like, she pube, right? He cursed.
F-word.
And he threw his I was sitting down at the counter. He threw his coins at my stomach and left. And like I saw his face as soon as like he threw it like cha-ching! Like, and then like the coins fell on the floor, and I just looked up at him because I was like, again, flabbergasted. He seemed scared that like I think it was impulsive that he did that, and he regretted it right away. He turned so fast and he tried to walk. He was shimmying out the door. Like it was like and I just sat there. I was like, huh? And then my boss got so pissed off. He ran out the door.
Catch him?
He grabbed him by the back of his shirt and he called the police.
Oh God.
But before they could do anything, he was like, 죄송합니다. 제가 I'm so sorry. I'm
sorry.
I just sat there for like 5 minutes and I just picked up the coins, put it in the register, and that was it. Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so many people who's not.
But it still cracks me up. How fast he
ran.
How he was gone. He was
gone in a flash.
Yeah, he was the Flash basically.
The Flash.
Like literally, I could tell as soon as the coins left his fucking fingers.
He just left.
He regretted it immediately. He was just fucking hauling ass out of there. Like, yeah. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, that was a big tangent, wasn't it? But anyways, there are so many like green flags and red flags in people, like in relationships. But I guess it's like it's up to you, right? And what your boundaries are. But there are universal red flags and green flags that you should probably look out for.
Common sense.
Common sense is a big
deal.
Politeness. Yes.
One more.
Moral of the story: be nice.
Be nice. Yeah.
Think twice.
Yeah, think twice.
Yeah. Anyways, that was about an hour.
Wow.
Wow.
Time goes
I had
fast.
fun talking about that. That was pretty cool. If you guys have anything else that you want to add on, it could be about men, women, it could be about friendships in general.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think.
And write down that in comments.
Yeah, write it down in the comments. And also, you can DM us about some other things that you want to talk about. But yeah, that was episode 3 of Unkempt with your host, Amber.
And Apex.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.